Hi guys, CJMinecraft here, welcome to another CJCore update. It has been a really long time since the last update, and that's because I've been doing quite a bit. Oh, that's the wrong button. I've been doing quite a bit since the last one. As you can see, in my other hand, I've got a new item. It is the item Multimeter, and the old one is now the Multimeter for energy. So, yeah, this is update 0.0.2.0. This has introduced a lot of new code. I believe it's 8,000 new lines of code for this update, which is pretty neat. And what I've done is I have now got inventory support. So I'll show you the tile entity command later, but it now has support for that. Obviously, I'm just going to chuck this on the ground. The RF one still works. It looks as good as ever. I've added this chest up here because if you look on the left, you can now see what's inside of here. And the bottom item, which is always on the bottom. So say on this one, this has got 42 coal in, or charcoal. You can actually see the block which is on the bottom. That's the same as it is for the energy multimeter, which you've probably noticed. You can see the item now, and it says what item it is. And what block it is, I mean. And this now works for all the other blocks for items. So if it has an inventory, we can see it. Obviously the chest does not have energy, but it has an inventory. And if it's actually wide enough, it will actually say it's a chest. Like this one, it doesn't have space to put coal generator, but this one, it has space to put chest. So we can see it's a chest. And the cool thing about this is that it actually stacks them up, the whole inventory. And as you can see, that's 65 cacti. You can't do that normally. And let's say we add another stack. That's 129 cacti. And another one. And you get the gist. I can take out all of this and just fill it all up with cacti. And we'll get a whopping great big 1,728 cacti in a chest. And we can see that, which is pretty cool. Obviously, I don't want that much cacti in a chest. And if you just shove random junk in, I can show you another feature. So I'm just going to shove out a couple of these. And as you can see, it's now on a new line. You can see. And we can actually go to the config, which has actually changed a little bit. If I go over to enter configuration, you can see it's a bit bugged here. This is because I have to delete the old config, which, yeah, you need to do that. And then all the new stuff is over here. So the multimeter energy height, you can still change the height, the width, and the new one is the multimeter item max columns. So currently the multimeter item max columns is 9. That's saying that there's 9 columns. So if you count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As you would expect. But we can change this to be whatever we want. So if we want 12 columns, it to go 12 columns along. It can be 12 columns along. And let's say we change it to something like 3. So we've now got 3 columns maximum. And we look at this, you can see it's now in rows of 3, which is pretty cool. I like that. That's actually quite nice. I might leave it like that. But I'll leave it at the default, which is 9. And that is super awesome. Like, we can now see the inventory of one of these chests and any block actually. Now we can actually utilize the new tile entity command, which now has support for inventory, to, first of all, let's get the inventory. So, I've noticed a bug, because that shouldn't do it. I can fix that. That'll be the next update, which says the whole inventory out nice and neatly. We can do extract. And we know that there's a sponge in there, so we put in a sponge. Let's say we extract 10 sponge, no damage. Obviously you can put your like the MBT tag there, and obviously you can select a side after. We don't need to do that. So as you can see, oh, if that goes out of the way. We've now lost 10 sponge. We can do it again. 44, and again 34, 24. But say we don't want to extract, we can actually insert. So 38, 64. Excuse me, that's 10. 74, 84. Yes, it was doing it correctly. That was weird. 74, 64, 54, 58. I suppose that means I need to fix that up. So don't worry about that. That will be fixed soon. You can now insert extract correctly. But one of the major changes which allowed this to all happen was to my GUI system which I set up. Now this was actually based off the CoFH Lib way with a GUI base. I really liked how KingLemming did it there, so I asked for permission to utilise some of his code for some of this, and I think the output was pretty good. So I'll show you over on Bit of Everything. So here we are over on Bit of Everything. This is currently on the old system, and we need to obviously update this to the new system. So the new system, instead of using GUI container like we did before, we're going to utilise GUI base. So if we head over to where the CJCore is down here, we can actually take a look at this, and all the old stuff is deprecated. So the energy bar is deprecated, the progress bar which I had in CJCore is deprecated because it's all over this new element system. So GUIs will all be an instance of GUI core, which automatically is a GUI container. This has quite a few utility methods. Stuff will get centered offset, get the font renderer, play a click sound. That's overriding something, and loads of util methods in here. And then the GUI base is an instance of this, which basically you can set up a GUI with different elements on the screen. So an element could be just like the energy bar or the progress bar. There's obviously more elements in this. So I've got element box, which is just a coloured box, and you've got element texture, which is just a texture, and item slot, which is just a slot. You can't interact with it. It just shows a nice item in the slot. Yeah. So you got some really super awesome methods in here. So if we head over to, I'm going to start off on the energy cell. We need to convert this over, because what this does is the hovering tooltip, we don't have to do that ourselves. This is automatically handled. So this is going to completely reduce what we've done here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a GUI base, like so. And not much has changed in this base. We don't need to take in this, I don't believe. We still need a super, actually. Yeah, we still need a super, because the super just takes in the container. But what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put our texture in here as well. So this is the background texture, and what they'll do is it'll set the texture automatically. Now we're currently doing the size using this. You can actually use set size or set GUI size, which is actually already provided. We could have just done this before, but I didn't, because I didn't know it was there. Obviously you need the tile entity in the player inventory, but we might not even need to use this anymore, because what we can do is simply add an element, and this is where we add an element, and it's going to be an element energy bar. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in a GUI. This is what this class is. It's put in a position on the screen. So as was 79 and 16. Now what I did here, I had to center it, but this automatically centers it, which is brilliant. And what I can do is I can actually set the energy, the initial energy. I can set the texture, position, the name, where it should sync. I'm going to say it should sync, and the position that we're going to sync it to is the tile entity get parse, and the side is just going to be null. You don't need a side to sync. Now that will automatically sync with the server for our energy bar. So we've already set up an energy bar, we don't need to do anything else for an energy bar, which is actually amazing. We actually do not need anything else in this class at all. So I'm just going to go and delete all of this. So, and I can delete all of this. And I don't even need that. And literally, you've got an energy cell. And what I'll do is I'll quickly show you this in action. After some tweaking, I should be able to get this working. You actually have to register your elements in init GUI. I forgot about that. And I've just set the tile entity here, saved it here, so I can just get the position of the tile entity for the energy bar to sync. I also set the size because I looked at it and I actually put the wrong size. So I had it 18 wide and 56 high. That's just part of the constructor here. And that should now work. Okay, so the game is loaded up. So if we go inside the test world, we should now be able to see the working energy bar with all this code here. Just getting the position for the syncing, and that should be up to date with the server. So let's have a look. Let's hope this works. Fingers crossed. And eventually, once the game loads up, which it has done, we can see an energy bar. Obviously, it's got no energy, and there's a new stuff with the energy bar. It says the 0 RF, how much it's getting a tick, and how much it's charged. This will actually be applied to all of them. Obviously, this one needs to generate some power. So I'll put in a lava bucket, that should keep us going. And there you go, that will generate some power. We can look in here. We've got 40 RF, and it's transferring it over to here right now. So if I break this, we should be able to see we're gaining a fluctuating amount. So after some time, I've actually got it to work. I'm just booting up the game right now. I forgot to mention that you need to add this line here, where I just set the name to container.energy cell, because it localizes it. Now, what I did is I've actually put out another CJCore update to fix some bugs I discovered while doing this video. And also, I've managed to deobfuscate the code, so you can actually see what these are called instead of, you know, stupid names. So you can actually read this, it's legible. And I'll just show you this. Where does it draw it? It's in the draw screen here. Or actually, it's in the foreground there you go. So we've just set the name here, and what it does is it will format the name and it will actually put it centered. That's what we've got it set up to be. You can actually change it to be not centered by doing like this dot center title equals false, but I want it centered. And oops,